Hey guys, welcome to this webinar hosted by PPC Ninja. Today I'm joined by Jana Krakic, the founder of YLT Translations, an American-based company operating worldwide. I had the opportunity to meet Jana at the Empower Women's Conference in LA this year, and we were both speakers there, and that's when I got to know her and about her great services. So today I would just like Jana to share what YLT Translations is and how they can help Amazon sellers improve their listing when they're selling globally, worldwide. So Jana, how about you tell us a little bit about yourself and then take it away.
Perfect. Thank you so much for having me today. So my name is Jana. I'm the founder of YLT Translations. We've been in the business for about 2 years now. We are a team of 43 team members, and we really love what we do and I'm very passionate about e-commerce, Amazon, and translations. I have a translations background and also background in e-commerce. So I really wanted to kind of combine two of the passions that I really, really love. And throughout these 2 years, we've met a lot of different clients. We do around like 1,000 listings per month. So we have like a lot of experience with what people usually do wrong, what could be done better. And this is actually what I'll be talking about today in my presentation. So the presentation name is Most Common Mistakes That Sellers Make When Creating Their International Listings. I just wanted to take just a short comment about to make a short comment about the COVID-19 times that we're at right now, and I saw that a lot of people just are taking this time to kind of step back and focus on their listings. People are really focusing on optimization and on translations and everything they could do to pitch their listing a little bit better, so they're ready when this thing passes, which will definitely pass in a couple of months, so that people are ready to go out and launch. So I would definitely recommend everyone. Usually people don't have time to do it. People usually just, they launch their listings, they never kind of optimize them, or they don't do anything like it. So I would definitely recommend this time to kind of focus on your listings and improve them and make them perfect. So one of the first things that I see completely repeating is that you use translators that they don't know what they're doing. Basically, it's a very difficult job to find a good translator for someone who doesn't speak the language. Excuse me. A lot of sellers, they don't speak any other languages except their own native language. And this is what makes this job so difficult. So for instance, you have this guy, his name is Kevin, 22, from Liverpool. He loves languages. He speaks Italian. He loves like drinking cappuccino and aperitivo. And you think like, okay, well, this guy charges like 2 times less than a professional translator or a professional agency. I'm probably going to hire him to do my listings. So probably this is not being well thought through, because what does Kevin know about actually product listings? Kevin might be a good translator to do like your instructions for how to use your washing machine, or maybe like to do some translations on some more general matter. But does he know how to do keyword research? Does he know how to use any of the tools? Does he know the lengths of the title of the bullets? Does he keep updated with the algorithm? I don't think so. So this is not a person who you should hire and expect great results in increasing your sales. Of course, it can happen that are really good translations, they still trigger sales, because the listings and the translations are not the only thing which were important when bringing you sales. So basically, when somebody is gonna look for a product that Kevin translated, such as, for instance, a French mom looking to find diapers for her baby, if Kevin has not used the keywords that this mom is going to use in her search field, your product is not going to show up. So this Kevin guy would definitely fail this French mom test, as I like to call it. And this means that you're not gonna your product is not gonna pop up for a lot of potential keywords that all of your other competitors would be ranking for. So this is something you should really think about when hiring a translator, checking his background, and maybe asking for samples of his work. So for instance, if we take, for example, like this, these leather cashmere gloves, and this is how the listing looks like, the first title and the bullet. The regular, let's say, German translation would sound something like this. This is this first example here. So this is just a word-to-word translation. What is also important when doing the translations for, let's say, the German marketplace or any other marketplace, you would have to adjust it a little bit for that German marketplace. Not everything sounds fantastic in the UK English version or US English version, then it sounds like for German. For instance, you cannot use a lot of metaphors. You cannot use like some like emotional language. This thing doesn't sell on the German marketplace. You would have to adjust it so that the German speaker or the German potential buyer, when he reads that, he's like, oh, okay, I understand this. I understand this product. I understand the branding. I understand the storytelling. And so it's very important to adjust it to the target language and the target audience. Sometimes this means that you're going to change a little bit your bullets. Of course, keeping the essential information is very important, but you really want to adjust it a little bit. So sometimes it doesn't necessarily mean that the translation is going to be 100% the same as it is on the English language. Amazon translation with keywords of the same text here, we usually mark the keywords in red when we translate them so the clients are aware of where we've placed them. So you see how many differences there are between the regular German translation title and the Amazon translation title with the keywords. This is something that's going to be very good for your listing. Your product was going to pop up because these are the high volume keyword that are inserted here, and bullets are also slightly changed so they can fit keywords, and also they're a little bit adjusted so they sound better for the German speaking audience. The same is for the Spanish translation. So if we compare the Spanish translation, Amazon translation with keywords, with the German one, you'll see that it's not 100% the same. And this is actually the beauty of these translations and different international marketplaces, because you don't necessarily have to have the same translations and the same text on all other marketplaces. And this is something which is called localization, which is super important. And I'm gonna talk about it in a minute. Very often question I get asked is, should I use Google Translate? And this is how a lot of people tend to check the translations they've got from translators or translation agencies. And one thing that that sellers need to remember is that Google Translate is not quality control. So if something does not sound 100% the same in the German or Italian or French, other than your language original, sometimes it just means that people adjusted the language so it makes more sense for the target audience. A lot of times we still get Google Translate problems, such as, like made in Turkey and stuff like that, which still is really ridiculous. But Google Translate has honestly come a long way ever since I started using it. I don't know, maybe like 15 years ago. And it still makes a lot of sense for a lot of translations. Technical translations usually does a very good job. It has 70% correct rates for that, for the correctness of the translation. But the thing is that the Google Translate doesn't understand meaning of the word context. So if you want to tell a story, what a lot of people want to do that in their A+ content, like a storytelling, they're not going to be able to put this in Google Translate, understands that, and to get an information that exactly what it wants to deliver to the target audience, because Google Translate doesn't understand your brand and does not understand you. It cannot customize things the way you would usually do it with, let's say, a human translator. Of course, one of the very important thing is never to translate the keywords in the Google Translate. A lot of times we get clients that say, could you just translate these like, I don't know, 20 keywords, like top keywords from my UK market to 20 keywords for the French market. I'm going to use it for the French market. And I always say, like, you really have to do the keyword research for every market separately, because it's not necessarily that each market has the same keyword combinations as the UK market has, or US market, or any other market. So never use Google Translate, and always do the keyword research for each market separately. So here we have an example of sweetened milk can, okay? And let's say this is a product that you want to sell on the Spanish marketplace. So if we want to go to Google Translate, this will translate as la leche azucarada puede. And if we were to search for this exact term on the Spanish Amazon, we would get nothing close to this condensed milk, because the condensed milk, actually, you would search it for leche condensada. And this is something that Google Translate would not tell you. Also, sometimes it can happen that your translator would not know like what is used for Amazon, but the thing is that you will always have to research your competitors. So this is the key for everything. Even human people, translators, they can make a mistake while translating, but that's why you have to tell and instruct your translators, if you're hiring a freelancer, to always search and see what the competitors are doing. And this is exactly what happens with the second example of the faucet. So this is an example of a kitchen faucet. And the Google Translate says rubinetto, which actually is the correct term for the faucet. So it's nothing wrong with that. And probably if you ask your translator, they will also translate it as rubinetto. But what happens on Amazon is that when you type rubinetto, you get like some like crazy stuff here. Like faucet is on page 3 when you type rubinetto, not before that. And that's because Amazon uses miscelatore lavello for the kitchen faucet that you're looking for. And this is why you really, really have to do your research or your competitors, and never to trust people that, you know, what they say it's absolutely true. Always tell them to research your competitors, to double check what Amazon is using, because even though that sometimes the translation is absolutely correct, and this is what you also find in the dictionary, this is not something that people use to identify the product on the Amazon store. Know your marketplaces. This is a really a good strategy, definitely, because it will definitely help you to get to know your audience, to know who you're targeting, and how to adjust this optimization that I've been talking about. So I like to call the German market a 5-star market in Europe, because all the other countries in Europe, which don't have their own Amazon, they're being transferred and redirected to buy from the German marketplace. So if you think you're targeting only German audience, you're targeting much more audience that you can think of. Second marketplace is UK, then we have France, Spain, Italy, and the Netherlands. And when it comes to the worldwide marketplaces, Japan is basically comes right after Germany. So it's a really good market to expand on if you have a really specific product for that marketplace, because not all products are going to work for the Japanese marketplace. A lot of, like, let's say US and UK sellers are going to work equally good on the European marketplaces, but not on Japanese marketplace especially. But we can talk about this other time. And Arabic, Amazon has been like one of the newer marketplaces, but I honestly haven't seen that much of increase in sellers being interested to sell in that marketplace. What is very interesting is the Dutch marketplace, like the Netherlands. It's a small country, it's a small marketplace, but they have very high living standards, and people are used on to sell online, buy stuff online. They had a marketplace called Bol, and that was the biggest marketplace out there. And I was really surprised to see how many people actually were interested in selling it to Amazon. So it just recently started, launched rolled out a couple of categories on that marketplace, but we've had requests for the Dutch marketplace ever since October. So time will show if it was a good idea to sell there or not, but we've done hundreds of ASINs, and prepared a lot of sellers to start selling on the Dutch marketplace. And I'm really interested to see how it works, if it's gonna do as amazing as everybody thinks. And also, there are no tools for Amazon keyword research for the Dutch marketplace. So what I would recommend using here is Keyword Planner. Basically, when you do the new marketplace, you really have to do a lot of localization, which I mentioned as my first thing I talked about. People make mistakes with. So people don't get familiar with the audience. They don't get familiar with the customs. They're not familiar with what the target audience wants. So you have to like really feel the pulse of the market and then launch a product, and not vice versa. For instance, the naming of your brand or the product can also be a big problem. And this is something which happened to much bigger commercial brands and famous people, apart from like small sellers on Amazon. So even more serious brands make this mistake still. But for instance, I like to take an example of Kim Kardashian, very popular, let's say, a reality star, and she wanted to launch her famous now shapewear called Skims. But this was not the first choice for the name of her product. First choice for the name for the product was kimono. The Japanese government and the Tokyo governor, they were not really fond of this idea. They thought that this was a complete insult of their national attire, and Kim Kardashian had to withdraw that name. Luckily, this happened before she started selling Skims, and so she avoided this disaster. But this was just, completely mistake done because of the lack of the market research over there. Also, one of my favorite examples is Hyundai. They had this car model called Kona, and it's named after the Hawaiian island. And so they launched this Hyundai Kona in Portugal. And what they didn't know is that Kona, basically, it's a really bad word for female organ in Portuguese. So people did not want to buy and drive a car which has the name Kona, and they made such a disastrous move with this. They lost so much money, and they had to rename the model of the car Kauai. So they just picked up another Hawaiian island to double check what it means. So after making sure that it doesn't have any other connotation on their languages, they just launched this car model. So what does it have to do with their Amazon product? Basically, we've had a client who was selling shampoo, and he was doing pretty good on the UK marketplace, and he decided to launch this on the German market. But what he didn't know is that one of the key ingredients of his shampoo, which were freely sold in the UK supermarket, was actually marked as a prescription drug in Germany. So his product got banned, and he had a lot of trouble relaunching that again without that same ingredient. So you really have to pay attention and research the marketplace before you start selling, because a lot of marketplaces have different restrictions, and you really have to sit down and do your homework on that. Localization. So what I always like to talk about are specifics when it comes to each marketplace separately. I always like to take examples of the US versus the German marketplace, because this is something which has very severe differences. A lot of people don't know this and don't even pay attention to it, but this can cost them a lot of potential profit in sales. So the German language does not like this kind of emotional wordplay or being super attached or metaphorically speaking about your product. And one of our clients, we were translating some brochures for them. And so like the original said, passion, we go beyond care. And in German, it would have, the better translation is passion, we go beyond customer service, because the word care is a little bit too emotional for the German market. It's like talking about friends and family and not about your business. So this is something which would sound definitely super weird if just left translated like that, one-on-one translation. Also humility, we go beyond assumptions. We translate that to respect. We live up to what we promise our customers. Also, humility is a little bit of humble service providers. It's something that the German audience would find as very weird and be like, maybe I don't want to work with these people because this doesn't sound right. Also, words such as, your heart beats for the t-shirt, it just doesn't make much sense in the German marketplace. German marketplace is very simple. They love straightforward, clean. Tell me how it works. Why should I use it? Don't push me into buying this. Don't get like over dramatic or like emotional about this product. And don't ever, tell me that this is amazing. Like I would tell you if this is amazing or not. So this is pretty clear structure of how the German market works. And it's very clear that the US market is like very just like sales pitchy like tone in their listings, which works fine for the US market, but if translated absolutely the same, it won't have the same effect on the German market. It can actually hurt your listings. And also one of my very favorite examples here. So this was an example of a glass espresso cup. So the US listing says cool, cooler, coolest, while as the German translation is elegant and stylish. So no wordplay, no like stuff trying to be charming. It's an espresso cup. It's completely different if you're selling like toys or kids products. Of course, you can use a little bit of a different language. We should be really careful with that as well. But when it comes to espresso cup, this is completely not necessary for the German market. And the third bullet, which goes like very into like this kind of storytelling metaphor thing, it says, own the enigma. Just like that old ship in a bottle your granny had, these mini glasses are sure to prove a talking point. Whereas in the German translation just says thermo isolated glass. So give me facts, tell me how does it solve my problem, and tell me the materials or ingredients which are in your product. And that's it. So these are like the main features and which should be used in the bullets. And then storytelling, like in A+ content, you can just, go crazy with the details and stuff like that. But in bullets, they really want to see like the effectiveness of the products and how the product can help you solve some problems you have. Also, some of the words which should not be used, like get it now. So don't push the client into buying the product. Adorable kids, super cute, pamper yourself in luxury. This is something which is a no-go and flagged as like completely non-German style for the listing that you want to have. I already mentioned the keywords not being translated in Google Translate. You have to do the keywords on each market separately. And I would just like to talk a little bit about the tools that have showed itself to be best in practice. Of course, Sonar is here. It's a Select tool. It's a free tool. So if you don't want to spend any money, maybe, just doing the research or just preparing yourself for international markets, you can use Sonar. It has, you can get the results with a search volume. It doesn't get a lot of details. It doesn't go so in depth, but it can still get you some decent results. Our absolute favorite is Helium-10. Gets the best, data, like search volume, other different categories that we need. Helium-10, I know like people have different opinions about these tools, and I'm just saying that for us, this is what had really good, we had really good results with. And AMZ Suggestion Expander. AMZ Suggestion Expander is an add-on for Chrome, and we use that in combination with Helium-10. Sometimes Helium-10 would not get good results when the product you're selling is maybe new on the market or you don't have that many competitors. So they don't have enough of data to draw from. So this works very well, the expansion and Suggestion Expander. You can get a lot of really cool keyword combinations and ideas you can use. So this is how the research for the Helium-10 looks like. This is Sonar, and this is AMZ Suggestion Expander. So it doesn't get you any search volume or any data, but you can get really cool ideas for the keywords that you can use before and after the main word you typed in the search field. So that's it, basically. Those were some of the very basic things that we've noticed we're working with our clients. And I think that, like today, a lot of people just don't think about these things so often. And we've seen in practice that by improving these things, you can actually improve your listings, increase your sales, and you can definitely use better keywords, which you can later use in your PPC campaigns, definitely. I would like to offer free listing and website analysis for all of the listeners listening, PPC Ninja listeners out there. And if you have any questions or if I can provide any advice on how to improve anything you're doing on international marketplaces, feel free to shoot me an email on jana@wildt-translations.com. And I would like to offer a unique code PPC Ninja to get 15% off on all our services. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Jana. That was awesome. Maybe, yeah, okay. So yeah, though that's really interesting. Your approach, your unique approach to translation. It's not just even translation in context. It is going beyond that. You're being very sensitive to how shopping behavior occurs on the Amazon platform. So you're so focused on that particular platform, right? Do you also do translations for non-Amazon channels? Like, for example, someone has their own Shopify store or any other, do you support that as well?
Yes, exactly. We do websites. We do everything you need to have ready for your store. If it's Shopify, if it's a WordPress, if it's any other platform, we do basically all e-commerce translations. This is actually what we actually started our agency with. And then I kind of decided to niche down to Amazon translations only. But we also do e-commerce even though we're basically mostly focused nowadays on Amazon. But we provide the translations for basically all other things, such as follow-up emails, packaging translations. We do flat file creation. So a lot of people are very uncomfortable with foreign language, and then sometimes they don't want to make a mistake and upload something which is like a bullet instead of title and stuff like that. Even though in our template it's very clearly written what goes where, but we do create flat files. So we also offer that like a zero hassle upload for the sellers. But basically everything you need to get started in international marketplace when it comes to language. So after you're registered VAT in your company, we can definitely help you out with.
That's awesome. So can you tell us a little bit about all the different types of languages that are available for translation? Is it like one for each marketplace on Amazon?
Yeah, so basically when talking about Amazon, we cover all European marketplaces, including the newest Dutch marketplace, as I mentioned. So we do German, French, Spanish, Italian, Dutch marketplace. And when it comes to worldwide markets, we cover Japanese and Mexican marketplaces.
Okay, that's awesome. Yeah, because Japan, because I have a background in Japanese, and for me to even think of trying to find someone to do the translations in Japan is like really hard. I'm not sure how you do that. Like, do you have a team there, or how does that work?
Yeah, we have 3 Japanese translators. They're based in Tokyo, and they do Amazon listing translations. They use a website. I really cannot remember the word, but it's a Japanese website that has some sort of a tool which helps find keywords. So it's not like an official tool, but it's like something they have on the website incorporated. I'm not sure what the name of it is, but a lot of keyword research is done manually. So you'll have to go through all of your competitors and just see what they're doing and basically just copy that. Unfortunately, there is nothing else we could do right now. Merchant words, for instance, they offer like Japanese and Dutch and Indian and all other languages, but we haven't had a good result with merchant words, honestly. It's uncomparable when it comes to Helium 10, and I've tried doing merchant words for the Dutch marketplace, and I've had better results with Keyword Planner. And this is something you don't have to pay, so basically it doesn't make much of a difference.
Right, yeah. And so you said you use Helium 10. Does Helium 10 also support Japanese or?
No, Helium 10 does not support Japanese, doesn't support Dutch. Okay. There are no tools that do the Dutch keyword research nor Japanese, unfortunately. I hope that they're gonna come up with something, because when I was in LA when we met on Empowery, a few days before that, I went to Helium 10. We had a couple of meetings, and I just talked to Boyan about the Dutch marketplace, because I was honestly really surprised by how many sellers wanted to go out there, and I was pretty sure that it's not going to be a super popular marketplace because of the Bol marketplace, which basically is the dominant over there. But I was wrong, I guess. And a lot of people just want to go out there and sell, and I'm really eager to see how it unfolds.
Yeah, no, that's really fascinating, and I really I just wanted to tell our audience that we actually used Jana's services to translate into German, and they did a spectacular job. It was so easy because we gave them a spreadsheet of like all the different bullets and the A+ content, and they came back with the translation into German with highlighted, like she was mentioning, all the important keywords were already highlighted in red, so it made our work really easy, because then we just had to pull those keywords and then just put them in the right places in the back end and so on. So really high quality work. I highly recommend the YLT translation services. So guys, try it out, and you have a great offer from YLT, 15% off on their services. So make use of it. And thank you so much, Jana, for taking out time. I know you've been sick, and I hope you get well soon.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Like my voice has been cracking up at the beginning of the presentation, but I was really, because this is literally my first day out of my bed after 8 days being very sick, and I was really looking forward to doing this webinar, because this is something that really makes me happy, and like activities and work and everything, and be very grateful to have work at this time and to be able to help people out there. So I would just encourage people to if they have any questions about VATs, anything that they've wanted to ask and people were asking money for them or anything, just, go ahead and ask me. And if I don't know, I'd be happy to connect you to people who can definitely help you. I think now is a time that we should help each other during this difficult time, and not everything is about money. There's also like a very it's also about humanity, and I just think that also this is something that we should really work on and deeply appreciate, doing something like that for one another.
Well said, Yana. Thank you so much. I really, really appreciate you coming on. Thank you so
Thank you
much.
so much for having me.
Okay, take care.